To an encore presentation of this program, KCAA, the Inland Talk.
Feel good music, and our man Secondhand Sam up at Second Chance Thrift Store next to USA Subs on Ukaipa Boulevard. Also, shout out to our new supporters, my cousin Andrew in San Antonio, Texas. Shout out to him. Love you, family.
Okay, we're getting some listeners from all the way out there.
All the way out there.
That's awesome. If you guys tuned in like a couple weeks ago, we had a bunch of callers call in when we had So Mob Inc. on.
That was crazy.
That was amazing.
That was a wild show.
Yeah, we had people from Rialto, from Rancho, from Mexico tuning in.
Mexico, yeah.
Yeah, so we definitely love to support you guys. We appreciate everyone here. If you guys are watching this live, there's only two of us.
Yeah. Where's our guest?
Yeah. Just me and Kyle tonight.
Yep.
We did have a guest that was supposed to come on, but unfortunately he got in a car wreck a couple days ago. He's doing okay.
He's doing okay. Okay.
But,
That's good to hear.
just the transportation was a little issue. And, when people get in car accidents, like mentally it messes you up as well. So
Yeah, you got to heal from that mentally and physically.
yeah, so he wasn't really fit to come on the show, which is understandable.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of people haven't been on the radio before. And when you do come on the radio, especially if it's like your first time, it's very nerve-wracking.
It can be.
Yeah, with him in the car crash and him, he called me like a couple days prior. And he's like, dude, how does your show work? Da 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 da. Like he was so nervous. And in all reality, we just come here to have a good time.
Yeah.
Our show is called Whatever Works, and tonight we're gonna talk about whatever works. Yes, sir. So let's just get straight to it. It is me and Kyle. It is the holidays. We didn't really get to talk about too much of Thanksgiving, and we can touch up on that if we want. Also, Christmas is coming up, and Kyle, let me ask you: are you ready for Christmas?
I am. Actually, for the first time ever, I am.
Okay, that's awesome. Do you buy presents, or how does your Christmas routine usually work?
So my Christmas routine.
Traditional.
Yeah. So my Christmas routine usually works running out of money before Black Friday and then scrambling to get gifts. This time, I have money. Got all my Black Friday gifts. Got them all done. Got my dad a gift, and yeah, we're set.
What did you get your dad? I'm just kidding. He's probably listening. But, so if you're going to ask me how does my Christmas usually work, last year, we have so many people in my family, and I love them all. But, it's hard to get gifts for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, let's do Secret Santa. Everyone draws a name out. And,
that's a good call.
Yeah, you buy one present for one person. But that didn't work because my brother JC, shout out to JC, he was like, well, I already bought presents for everybody. Like throughout the year, that's what he does. So
that's kind of smart.
It is smart. Like a guy like me who unfortunately procrastinates, but I'm actually doing a lot better. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
A guy who procrastinates, I'm like, running out of gifts or running out of ideas. Or you go to the store and there's literally nothing there. I actually had a dream last night where I was running out of time, and I was like, I got to go Christmas shopping. And literally every shelf at every store was empty.
Yeah.
I thought that was a total nightmare,
Man.
So, but my brother, he thinks ahead. He, throughout the year, he's like, that seems like a good gift. With me, I do kind of the same thing, but I don't wait until Christmas.
Yeah.
If I find something that reminds me of somebody, or
I'm the same way. Like I give gifts throughout the year.
Throughout the year, dude.
My presents to you is a gift.
Exactly. And another thing is my mom, her birthday is on Christmas, right?
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, everyone gives a gift to my mom or for my mom, and then we have to give gifts for everybody else. But my mom's a little special, right? Because what are we gonna do? Celebrate her birthday and Christmas on the same day? Yeah, that's what we do, Yeah. But we make sure she gets double the presents because she gets double the love.
Yeah. So my mom's birthday is December 17th.
Okay.
And so she always made it like growing up, like to all the kids, to like my birthday is separate from Christmas. I need to get 2 gifts.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yep. And so that's what we did.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, but yeah, December 17th coming up. And yeah, the holiday season, it's gonna be pretty radical. I got some pretty good things going on this
Yeah,
month.
you're excited about what you got.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, a couple years ago, like for the past, I want to say 5 years. Okay,
Yeah.
me, my brothers, and even my sister, we would have already thought my mom would have turned 50, right? So like each year we're like, is she 50 yet? Is she 50?
Oh
You know?
no.
And one time I think she was turning 45, but we thought she was turning 50, and we got her this this mixer for the kitchen. It was this big old box, and we got all these ribbons, and we put them on the box to write out 50, right? Because we really thought she was turning that old.
No,
And then when we
no.
gave it to her, we're like, "Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, da da da," and she's like, "Why does it say 50 on the box?" We're like, "What? Like you're not 50 yet?" And like that kind of like destroyed her a little bit, but.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it's like each and every year we're like, is she 50 yet? Is she 50? And you know what? If you ask me this year, I still can't tell you. She doesn't age, dude. She looks so young. And my mom told me the other day, she's like, I'm so happy I'm Asian. And I was like, why? She's like,
Yeah.
because all my white friends who, are in their 50s, I don't look nothing like them. I was like,
Right.
dang. But yeah, she looks great. She looks young. And it was actually kind of funny. My brothers were pulling her white hairs out of her head, and she's like yelling, she's like, "Oh, stop playing with me!" My brothers are like little gnats flying around here, just trying to like swat them away. But in some traditions, in some cultures, having gray hair is a blessing. It's a gift, because
Yeah.
not everyone makes it to where they have gray hair in life.
That's true. That's
And
true.
that's
Yep.
also, some say it's a sign of wisdom because you live through life, you learn things, and sometimes it's a good thing to have some gray hairs.
Yeah.
Maybe not when you're like in your 30s or 40s, but at appropriate age,
Yeah.
things like that. So
You know what sucks is both sides of my family, uh, everyone who's like gotten to the older age, their hair's already gone.
really, like, what do you mean older age? Like 50,
Like
60s?
50, 60, 70, like,
But your dad has hair.
yeah, he's the only one. He's the only one.
Wow.
He's the only one that has gray hair. Everyone else is bald.
And you know what? I feel like your dad went through so much in life,
He has.
like through the
He has.
war and through all his like
Oh yeah.
his experiences. Like you would assume that he would be the one with hair loss, not
Yeah.
having
no.
hair on his head. So it's kind of crazy. But speaking, because like it's due to a lot of stress.
Yeah.
like
it
in
can
life.
be. Yeah.
And speaking of stress, are you stressed usually during the holidays, or how do you feel during the holidays
Well,
this time of year?
I think like I'm more stressed like when it's not during the holidays.
Really?
I mean, like the holidays are cool because you get to see family that you haven't seen in a while.
Right.
I mean, like of course you're gonna have like those family mishaps, during dinner or whatever. But like those don't really stress me out 'cause I expect them. And like if they don't happen, then it's weird.
Yeah. You'll be more worried if it didn't happen, right?
Yeah, I'll like there was this one year during like one of the cousins' birthdays that there wasn't a fight, and I was like, we were all like, what's going on?
We gotta start something, so there is a fight, huh?
Somebody punched somebody.
Yeah,
Like,
something has to happen, guys. We're all smiling
Yeah.
way too much.
yeah, and so, you know, the holidays are good. My dad has lost a lot of family members throughout life. With him being way older, and him and I get to share. The loss of my meme, who was his mom in 2009. So just to kind of get together and really spend a day together and kind of reflect on life and see where everything's been is it it's kind of like the opposite of stress in that situation.
It is. It's a little heartwarming,
Yeah.
but at the same time, a little heartbreaking, knowing that after the holidays, we're not, everyone's back to doing their thing,
Yeah.
you know?
That's the thing. Yeah.
And I feel like in my personal experience, and I'm sure it's with everybody else, like the older you get, the more you appreciate the family being together,
Yeah.
you know? And like this time of year, like it's definitely it's tough as we get older because everyone starts to live their own lives. Everyone starts to, move out of state or in this and this. Like I remember when I was a little kid, my whole family was at the house.
Yeah.
The whole family, aunts, uncles, grandpas, cousins and all that. And it's like at a young age I realized that it's not gonna be like this forever,
Right.
you know?
It's definitely not. Well, at least in my case.
Yeah, and so and honestly, people like when they say, "Oh, like what's your favorite season or what's your favorite holiday?" You know,
Yeah.
mine would have to be Thanksgiving, and it's already passed. But I love Thanksgiving just because there's no presents involved.
Yep.
Like I really don't
Yep.
think that we need presents in order to feel loved
Right.
by one another. You know,
Yeah.
and just like having the whole family there again, and everyone sharing the same laughs.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's very touching, and like something that on Thanksgiving, something that my uncle told me. He's worried about his son, my cousin, whatever, and he was like, "I love all you guys unconditionally,"
Yep.
and that really touched me because I know I was a little screwball back when I was a kid.
Oh, you're telling me.
You know what I mean? And it's like I know my family loves me, but for him to say that, like even though we went through some hard times, he's like, I love you guys unconditionally. Like it doesn't matter what you guys do, like I still love you guys. And I was like, love you too, uncle.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my most fond memories with my uncle, there was a point in time where it was like year after year he was getting surgery.
Yeah.
And at this time of year he was getting hip surgery.
Okay.
And he got hip surgery, and he never thought that he was gonna be able to like run again or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah.
And his favorite weather is when it rains. He loves the rain.
Hey, me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
it's awesome. And so
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't know if it was like someone's birthday, or maybe it was Thanksgiving, but the whole family's there, and it was raining at the house, and he goes outside, and he's just getting
He's just soaking up life.
he's just soaking up life. And then us kids being like athletic and like running around, he was like, let's go run, you know? And so we're like, really? He's like, yeah, let's go. And we started running down the street, just like me, my brothers, my uncle, and just trekking. And then as we're running back, like you can feel his energy, his vibration of love and life. Like he never thought he was going to be able to run again. And for that was kind of like Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
like run, Forrest, run. And it's just like thinking of the impossible.
Yeah.
And like he hugged us all. He's like, I love you guys, da da da. And we're like, we love you too, uncle.
Yeah.
And it was just like it was such a moment because the atmosphere was right for him. The family was there for him, doing something that he didn't think he was ever gonna able to do again, and we did it with him. Like it was so sentimental, like in my life. Like that was like one of the most fond memories I have of my uncle. Yeah.
My dad, a lot of people might know or you don't. My dad's a preacher. I'm a preacher's kid. He said once during a sermon that you get to find someone's joy, or you get to learn about someone's joy when they're feeling happiness. And the difference between happiness and joy is happiness is in the moment, and joy is what they're feeling every day. And so that's really cool that you got to experience, your uncle's joy.
Yeah.
And it's like addicting.
It is. It's definitely one of those things, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because if you're at work and you're in a good mood, and then one of your coworkers they walk in and they're in a bad mood, it can turn everyone into a bad mood.
Right.
And it's like it's contagious.
It's contagious. Yeah.
But so is love. So is happiness.
That was actually the message at church today for me.
Really?
Yeah. Is attitude.
Okay.
Is you can't change the past, but having a good attitude can help you change your future. And so my adoptive dad, who's also a preacher, was actually preaching that today. Shout out to Pastor Eric. You know, um, so it's about the attitude. You know, it's about forgiveness. You know, it's about forgiving someone or letting someone forgive you during the holiday season, because you never know when you're going to see them next.
Right.
And it's during the holidays where you can see family. And I'm not sure about how your family operates, like with your culture, but in Hispanic culture, everyone has a matriarch. And basically, the matriarch is everyone goes to their house, and their power isn't questioned. So for me, it was my grandma or my mom's mom. And so when she and my grandpa passed away, I feel like the family kind of split.
Mm.
So like, granted, a lot of us moved to Texas, a lot of us moved elsewhere. We're all starting families. I get that. But I feel like there's excuses after excuses sometimes.
Yeah.
And I feel like growing up that we still had those issues, but we were kids, so we didn't know. But no matter what, everyone went to grandma's house. Everyone went to grandma's house for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for birthdays. The whole family didn't show up until grandma showed up. That's just what it was.
The party don't start till she walks in.
Yeah. So, I kind of want to talk to you, Sam, about your culture. Do you see any of the Filipino culture that you guys practice, or do you guys have a matriarch?
See, you know what? We really don't.
Okay.
You know, when we were younger, my mom used to make a bunch of Filipino food.
Okay.
And I was too young not to understand, but to really care. Like
Yeah.
she would just make this food and it was amazing, but I never took the time to like.
What, you bring out the lumpias or what?
You know what I mean? It's like, Mom, like, what dish is this? What is it called? Like, how'd you make it?
Yeah.
And even a couple years ago, my grandma, she came over, and we usually don't see her for like a year or maybe a couple years. And she came in and she was making Filipino food. And my uncle was like, "Hey, you guys need to come, like, watch your grandma cook and like learn the traditions,
Yeah, so you can pass it down.
so you can pass it down."
Yeah.
But again, like being young, that's not something you really want to do. At least personally, that's not something that I like really shot for.
Yeah.
And I am a family guy. I love my family more than anything. But at that time, I was just like, nah, we're just kicking it, like food
Yeah.
will be here, it was great. But we kind of lived a life where, we went to this church and we weren't really supposed to celebrate Christmas,
Right.
So
Right.
when we did celebrate it, we just told the church it's my mom's birthday, which is true. We didn't lie. But, we kind of like hid that.
Oh, but you guys celebrated the Filipino Christmas,
No, we just celebrated Christmas. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's, living in America and like just a culture with everyone who celebrates Christmas, everyone gets presents.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be an outsider, So like my parents, they did what they can, which is amazing, and I'm so thankful for them. Like, they gave us presents,
Yeah.
Like, we were not on the outside like every other kid that's in the street got a new bike and new toys, and it's not like we were the ones like, oh man, like, why do they get the presents, Like,
Yeah.
we got presents too.
Yeah.
We celebrated our Christmas, but we never put up Christmas lights. And I think my mom told me, because my dad, he used to, be outside a lot and just like pace back and forth on the porch, especially at night,
Yeah.
drinking his coffee, doing his thing. And, my dad didn't want lights in his face at night, so we didn't really have Christmas lights,
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I didn't celebrate Halloween or go trick-or-treating until, I want to say, 5th or 6th grade.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember my first costume. I didn't know what to be, but my friend Dryden, shout out to him. I actually got connected with him recently. He was like, "Hey, we're gonna go trick or treating." I was like, "I never done that before." He's like, "You gotta dress up." I was like, "I never done that before."
Yeah.
You know, and being like in what 5th or 6th grade, I was probably like 9 or 10. Like that was pretty exciting, you know.
Yeah.
But that's not something that I was like angry about my parents about. I was like, oh, like we're not going trick or treating. Like I just like it's fine. That's not what we did, you know.
Yeah.
Like me and my brothers, we grew up. You know, honestly, I want to say we grew up the right way.
That's good.
You know, so
Yeah.
for an explanation, one of the things that me and my brothers always know, my dad used to say to us, he's like, "Hey, don't come back until the street lights come on." You know, like once it gets dark, then come home. But within all that, like go outside, go have fun, go out and play.
Yeah.
You know, go make friends, do this, do that. And so for the most part of our lives, it was me and my brothers, which I mean,
Yeah.
I have 2 of them, and we're all 16 months apart. So, I'm 23, my other brother's 24, and my oldest brother's 25.
Yeah.
So when we're young, 9, 10, 11, man, we would roam the streets.
Yep.
We would have
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you were there
Yep.
too. Yeah.
I was there.
And we would play tag. We'll have airsoft wars. We'll go swimming at
Go to the
friend's
swing.
house. Yeah, we'll just go to the swing, which is still there,
Yeah.
which is remarkable because
If
there's
you know about the swing, you're a real one.
yeah. Our parents,
Yeah.
my friends' parents, when they were kids, they went to the swing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, when we first discovered the swing, we're like, oh, we're going to the swing, da 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 da, like this is it. And they're like, the swing is still there? And let me just, break it down to you guys. The swing it's not around any like houses or anything. It's just in an open land on the top of Ukaipa, like in the mountain, right, in the hillside. And you gotta hike. You take a dirt trail, you walk
Yeah.
down there.
It's like half a mile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not too bad.
no.
It's actually really nice. It's a nice hike.
It is, especially at night.
Yeah, we see deer. I saw a bobcat and, things like that. But it's this swing and it's like in a dome of trees,
Yep.
and
Beautiful.
beautiful. And like before you even get there, you're walking and it's very scenic. You walk up on the top of this hill and it's just like city lights. Sunset's amazing. Behind you is like the big mountain, where everything is. And then you keep walking in, and there's like vehicles that are abandoned upside down.
Yeah.
As you're walking.
From
And
like the 30s or 40s.
yeah, and then there's like a dirt bike track, so people they take their dirt bikes, people take their horses. It's a fun little spot. But once you get into these dome of trees, there's this swing. How tall would you think it is? Like probably 40 feet.
Probably close to 100.
100 feet?
Probably close to 100 feet. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, it's pretty tall.
Okay, well, think of like an overpass.
Hmm.
It's like 15 feet.
Okay. So, yeah,
So-
at least triple that.
At least 75 feet.
Yeah.
At least.
And the swing is made out of a parachute string.
Yeah, it's like parachute cord.
Yeah, and over time, because like I said, our parents were kids when they discovered this. Towards the end tail of the swing, there's just generation of ropes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And basically, what you do is you climb up the tree about midway, because there's like people put steps going up the tree branch or the tree stump, and you jump off the tree in a like circular motion, and you swing around inside the dome, and you're just swinging 30, 40 feet high, because you don't peak at the very top of the swing. It's almost impossible. But you swing out and you come back, and it's so fun. And over time, we had actual like legitimate like swing seats
Yeah.
like on the swing.
There used to be a tire. There used to be swing seats. There was like a bench seat.
Yeah, and
Like over the years, it's changed.
and I literally got a swing seat from my uncle, like from a playground. I don't know if he like stole it or whatever, but he just gave me one, like with chains and everything. And we put it on that swing seat, and then like months later we come back and there's like bite marks and like scratch marks from mountain lions or like some type of cat or something, because it's just playing with it,
Yeah.
And over time, people like they take off the swing seat to put like some bars on it or something.
Yeah.
And it's a fun little hike. There's little dens. When it snows, it's beautiful up there,
Yeah.
And one time, it was just the rope. And I was like, okay. So I grabbed a stick, right? And I used that as a bars that I can hang on to. But it was like a wide grip that I was holding it at. and I went off the swing, and as I was peeking up to the highest point, it just snaps in half.
Oh man!
And like there's a slope at the bottom of the swing, and I went down at a downward angle, and I didn't break any bones or anything, but I mean it did hurt pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Man.
And even my grandpa, who was like 64 at the time, he went on the swing and he went off the tree, you know? And we're like,
Really?
yeah, my grandpa, he's such a G. Like, when we had a trampoline, this guy would do like front flips. Like, he wouldn't land on his feet, but he would like flip and land on his butt, you know?
That's where you guys get it from.
Yes, man. He was he's a real one. You know, he was in the Navy, and every time we go swimming and stuff, he would like jump in the pool backwards as if like he's diving in the water like back in the day, you know? Like he's a little goofball, dude. He's so funny. But now he lives in the Philippines with his wife.
Right.
And this guy goes cliff jumping. You know, his transportation is like a little 250, like little dirt bike, you know what I mean? Just hitting trails, doing his thing.
That's what you gotta do.
And you know what's even crazy about my grandpa, okay? For as long as I've known him or been alive, he's always worn glasses, right?
Yeah.
He moved to the Philippines. Years later, he doesn't wear glasses anymore. He doesn't need them.
Really?
But his eyesight has gotten better living in the Philippines. And that's maybe, you know, there's so many variables, so many factors in this, but
Yeah.
it's probably the food that he's eating.
It's probably the diet.
Probably the diet, probably the fresh air. You're not like the pollutions out there is probably not as crazy out here, you know.
Easy.
He's living such a more stressless life.
Yeah.
You know, like living in the United States, it's like you have this persona. You gotta, you know, live up to the stigma. You gotta be like one of the greats.
Right.
And there's all this competition.
Uh-huh.
But in the Philippines, bro, he's living life with his wife.
Yep. That's how it is in other cultures. Like here, it's like fast paced. You gotta go A B. You know, like when I had church in Namibia, like people were standing outside the church talking for hours, you know. And so, you know, we'd all have church. Like nowadays, if you have church, everyone leaves. Here in America. Over there, it's like they have church, and then a lot of them just eat dinner together because they're there that long.
Right. And you know, I kind of live. You know, we went to church when I was younger in Ontario, but we still lived in Yucaipa.
Yeah.
And it was depending on who was driving. If it was my mom who was driving, we'd get there in about an hour. But if it was my dad who was driving, we'd probably get there in like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But, you know, a family of 6, the total, you know, people going to that church was like 13. So we were literally half the church. And so because it was such a far drive and we were half the church, we're like, we're going to stay for all the sermons and everything. And it was 5 hours. You know, we'll get there at like 10 and then we'll leave at like 3 o'clock.
Yep.
You know, and we'll stay for potluck, and no one left. Like everyone who showed up stayed there until the end.
That's cool.
You know, and I honestly, I really enjoyed it. When I go to other churches now, like when they play traditional like hymnals, I get a little teary-eyed because it hits the heart a little bit, you know, because it's like back to my childhood. And usually when I go to church and sing, I'm like underneath my voice or, you know, underneath my breath. But when they hit songs that remind me of play the same hymnals that I used to sing in Ontario, bro, I'll sing my heart out.
Yeah.
Just because it was such a touching thing, you know. And there's some songs that my mom would go up there and sing that I would like tear up on, you know. And my dad, he knows exactly what songs they are, you know, because I'll talk to my dad about it. And you know, church is a good thing. It's there's this church I used to go to, and we'll go on break after this. But there's this church I used to go to recently in Yucaipa called the Retreat.
That's what you're telling me.
Yeah. And we actually had Pastor Paul, he's the pastor there. He came on the show, and we had a great hour with him. You know, everyone asked questions, and he was more than willing to answer them. But like now, it's like, oh man, I don't want to do nothing but just listen to the Word of God, like there, right? So I sit in the back, and I show up late. I go after all the songs and stuff, which is not necessarily good for me and my soul, but it is what it is. And I'll sit in the back and I'll just listen to him preach. And he took me out to breakfast one time, and he was like, why do you go to my church? And I was like, you know what? Like, this is before I even knew what the church was called. And I was like, I like to go to your church because it's just like, it's simple. There's not that many people. It's not a mega church. And I can just like, I don't think about anything else outside of church. Like my life and all that, I'm not worried about it. And it's like, I kind of retreat back and I just listen to the word of God. And he's like, that's funny that you say that because the church is called the retreat. And I was like, how ironic, you know?
Yeah.
So I do need to go back to that church. I've been going to another church called the Garden City, I believe.
Where's that?
It's in Cal Mesa. I believe it's off Singleton Road.
Okay.
And, you know, back when I was younger, I didn't really pay attention to the pastor and like the message. But now it's almost every message is speaking personally to me.
Yep.
And it's almost kind of motivating, you know. And we'll talk more about that when we come back from our break.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kyle, close us out real quick, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
You are listening to Whatever Works.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. You've probably used GPS today in ways you don't even know about. Of course, your smartphone is a miracle at GPS navigation. It receives data from a network of 31 satellites orbiting 12,000 miles above us. At least 4 of them are visible from any place on Earth at any time. It uses that data to pinpoint your location to within 10 feet. It's pretty amazing. But there are many other ways that GPS impacts our lives. It helps airline pilots and ship captains stay on course. It helps taxis find their fares and military missions find their targets. And it plays important roles in bank transactions and power grids. In fact, because the GPS satellite network is even more stable than the shifting surface of the planet, scientists now use it to track continental plate movement. It shows that Australia moves as fast as fingernails grow, about 3 inches a year, while Hawaii holds the record, moving toward Japan at 4 inches a year. Geodetic surveys correct GPS coordinates for the shifting Earth and send updates to our devices on demand. And the whole thing is about to get more precise. The next generation of GPS will use both satellite and ground stations to be accurate to within 1 inch. We'll need it, as future technologies like driverless cars, delivery drones, and things we can't even yet imagine rely on GPS for increasing precision. I'm Scott Tinker, located precisely in Austin, and thanks for listening.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
Happy holidays from the crew at KCAA. Do you have a special, personal Christmas message you'd like to convey? Imagine the delight of your loved ones when they hear all about it on KCAA. Do you want to get your message out about your Christmas side gig, business, or service? How about your holiday event? Put us to work and support your favorite local radio station, KCAA. For a modest amount, KCAA can get your message out to nearly 1 million listeners from Yucaipa, Moreno Valley, Hemet, Cherry Valley, San Bernardino, and beyond. For more info, you can jingle our bells at 909-793-1065. That's 909-793-1065. Or you can log on to kcaaradio.com. Make your holidays delightful, memorable, and special this holiday on Express 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
Bob Vila here with my home improvement tip of the day. Winter's on the way, and that means homeowners are once again resuming their seasonal quest to get the most heat for the least money. If you have a fireplace that's inefficient, you might want to consider installing a fireplace insert. Most inserts are considerably more efficient than the fireplaces they replace. The best way to vent an insert is into a stainless steel liner that extends through the existing flue, from the top of the stove to the top of the chimney. That setup provides the highest efficiency, plus it's easy to inspect and clean. Though you can also vent the stove insert into the existing chimney, it's a bit trickier. That's because the proportions of the existing chimney may not match up with the size of the insert. If that's the case, the chimney won't draft properly, and besides getting smoke in your eyes every time you open the stove, you'll also get a rapid buildup of flammable, acid-laden creosote in the chimney. Get more info at bobvila.com and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
Tune in to The Ferran Dozier Show. Music marks place and time, the soundtrack to life. Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on KCAA Radio. Playing the hottest hits and the coolest conversations. Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on The Ferran Dozier Show. With an array of music, talk, sports, community outreach, and veteran resources. With hits from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today's hits. The Ferran Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, on all available streaming platforms, and 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. The Ferran Dozier Show on KCAA Radio.
Back in 5 minutes, but Kyle, you know, he likes to show up fashionably late. It's all good. We we love the love, man.
Oh, man.
Before we went on break, we're just talking about, you know, the holidays and church. We don't want to get too, you know, godly on you guys, but it's not even it's not even about that, to be honest. It's about feeling good, loving your community, having support, and, you know, everyone, no matter who you are or what you do, you know, everyone wants to be in a group.
Yeah.
No one wants to be isolated in life. You know,
Everyone deserves a chance.
even the worst people in the world have groups, you know, and I don't want to get, like, you know, too into it, but even gangs, you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to ride solo in life. And they say more people, more power, right? And it's not even that. It's the growth, the personal development, and the community that grows upon it. And it's whether it's good or bad, you know, just human nature, everyone just comes together.
Yep.
You know, as one. And that's what church is, and that's what everything is, you know, school, friends, family. Like, we all do this for a reason, subconsciously or even consciously. And I think it's very beneficial. But at the same time, you know, what really helps the mind is self-reflection. And how do you self-reflect? By being by yourself, right?
Yeah, meditate.
I was when we had Jay Kasai here on the show, you know, he does a great thing with all his artist buddies. Like, they get a place over in LA and they're there for like a whole week straight.
Yep,
you know,
they isolate.
Yeah, they isolate and they come together, and then, you know, the meeting of the minds, and they brainstorm, which is really good. But you do have to take time to reflect on yourself, to reflect on life, to really move forward in life, to know what you want.
Yep.
You know? And my brother, man, he goes on walks every night. Have you ever been on one of his walks?
Timmy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, we're talking like a 4 or 5 mile hike, like stroll. And I'm like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
You know? That's a lot of self-reflection. Because
Dude, he conned me into it the first time. He's like, just walk with me tonight. It'll be like quick.
It'll be quick, he says.
Bro, we started at like 9:20. I didn't get back until like 12:15.
Yeah.
And we were almost like, Timmy, how far are we going? He's like, oh, dude, dude,
We're almost there.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
He always says that.
Like,
Yeah, I love the kid. He's insane. Actually, both of my brothers are insane. I love them to
JC,
death.
Yeah.
You know, Timmy, when he was like 9 or 12, he did 500 push-ups consistently without dropping his knees. You know, my brother JC, he went to boot camp in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
He came back. My dad was like, "How was boot camp?" He said it was easy. I'm like, y'all are crazy, bro. Yeah. Like, if you guys know what a plank is, you're just basically on your forearms and on your toes, and you're just holding yourself, and it's an ab workout, right? It stimulates the abdominals.
Right.
And usually people will do like a minute. Timmy, 8-minute planks.
Yep.
8 minutes.
Minimum.
Bro, are you crazy? Like, your shoulders are on fire, like your legs are shaking, you're dripping in sweat. Like, they are so insane. And when last week, when I helped a family move, All right, I know how my brothers operate, you know. So I was like, all right. So I had a group of 5 guys, and I told everybody, I was like, this is what's gonna happen. Even though I'm in charge because I'm the one that set up the moving, I said, Timmy's in charge of organizing, and JC's in charge of coordinating. So Timmy's in the U-Haul, like the 24-foot U-Haul, and he's playing Tetris, you know, and he's just like moving all this furniture this way, to make everything fit seamlessly.
Yep.
And then JC's like, all right, upstairs, we're gonna have to move this furniture, but this is how we're gonna do it, you know. And I just know my boys, my brothers, they just have it in the bag. Like I was so proud of them when I was moving. I even said that out loud. I was like, I'm so proud of my guys, like my brothers. And you know, even in when we were younger, we were called Brothers of Destruction.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, like me and JC, we were on the basketball team, and JC was so good at just stealing the ball, and I was so good at shooting the ball. We were just indestructible, you know. Timmy, he was older, so he had to play like in an older like league, but you know that's besides the point. When we go to parties and we play like beer pong or something, Brothers of Destruction, you know. We play football. Hey, whose team we on? We're like, hey, Brothers of Destruction, and like we claimed it, but we didn't come up with it. Everyone around us came up with it. It's like, oh,
Yep.
it's the Brothers of Destruction.
He's
we're
not
like,
lying.
we're like,
He's not
yeah,
lying.
let's go, you know. And
That was the talk of the town.
it really was. And if it wasn't for my brothers, I wouldn't be the person who I am today. Like,
Yeah.
my brothers used to smack my phone out of my hand. Like, bro, stop being on your phone. Like, we're riding bikes. We're building dirt ramps. Like,
Yep.
you know. And hey, we're gonna go play tag. I don't feel like it. We don't care. Let's go. You know what I mean? I was like, they always dragged me into stuff that at the moment I didn't like, but looking back at it, like I loved it. You know, I
Yeah.
appreciate it so much. And that's like one of the biggest things in life for me personally is all the struggles that I went through in that time, all the experiences that I had where I didn't like it, you know, like you guys had teachers that you hated because they gave you so much homework or they called you out on stuff and this. But if you look back at it, like those are the teachers that made you learn the most.
Yep.
The ones that helped you grow, you know, as a person and in the education system. And it's like, it's the struggle that makes you better, you know?
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
I heard this story of the, what is it? The knights. It's like 13 knights. Who are they? Like King Arthur and his knights.
Yeah.
Okay, you know how they sit in like the round table?
Yep.
And they're looking for the Holy Grail, or not the Holy Grail, the cup. Man, it doesn't matter because that's not part of the message. But they're like, okay, where do we go to find something that no one has ever found? You know, and they looked up on their palace, they looked around, and they see the forest in a 360 view. And the place that they started was the place that they didn't want to go, the darkest area, the place where that everyone was scared to go in, and that's where they found it, because that's where you find what you're looking for in life. You know, like if you're looking to be one of the best, one of the greats, you're not going to be in a comfortable spot. You know, you're going to be out there where you don't want to be,
Right.
in order to get what you want. You know,
You got to get out of your comfort zone.
yeah, exactly. And we talked about this over and over and over again.
Over.
And over, yeah.
But if we didn't talk about it over and over again, it wouldn't be important.
Exactly.
You know, it's very important to get out of your comfort zone.
And recently, like this past month, I told my mom, I was like, you know, I've been working so much, like it's been taking up so much of my time, like I need to relax. But at the same time, it builds me that character and that strength to actually become of like who I want to be.
Yep.
You know? And some people, and I'm not trying to get on anyone's heads, but they're like, "Oh, like you need to stop. You need to do this. You need to do that." And it's like, if I took your advice, would I be where you're at now? You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
like, I don't, like, they say hypothetical is hypocritical.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like someone, like, if you see a trainer at the gym and he's not fit, you know, and if he's not what you want to be and he's telling you what to do, you know, that's being hypocritical, because he's not where he's at. He's not where you want him and where you want to be. So why would you listen to him?
Right.
You know? And it's like I'm trying to follow my mentors and my people who are leading me to success are the ones that are already there, you know? Like, and that's what you guys got to look out for, because a lot of people, if you keep yourself open-minded, it's great. You know, you learn things from everybody. When I was a server, no matter what age or what degree they had or who they were or what gender, like, I've always learned something from everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
But at the same time, you know, you want to observe and not absorb. And you really want to do a lot of reflection, because everyone's going to tell you this, and then these people are going to tell you that, and it's like, which side do you choose? And that's when you isolate yourself.
You got to choose you.
And you choose you.
You
Yeah,
choose
that's
you.
right. That's right. My boy Kyle, man, he understands the game. He
Yeah.
gets it.
And you have to choose you 100% of the time.
Yes. You know, and my problem was, like, if you think about this, guys, if you fall in love with someone and then something happens to where you can't see them anymore or whatever the case may be, and you didn't take that time to love yourself,
it's going to destroy you.
You're going to feel like the world's over. But if you love yourself, no matter what happens in life, you know, you lose somebody or you gain something,
You move on.
You move on and you're fulfilled.
Yep.
Right?
And then you let that be a lesson in your life.
And you got to pass that on, because the worst thing in life is when someone does something great and they keep it to themselves.
Yep.
You know, I had a book called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and I didn't want to give that book away, but I gave it to my brother. You know, and I was like, oh, I really like the book. I really want to keep it, because this book is kind of like a trophy of mine, you know? Like, it really helped me with my personal development. But you can't keep things to yourself. You know, if you are becoming successful, you got to share that.
Yeah, but what if I told you that it was part of your personal development to give that book away?
See, there you go.
You see what I mean?
And I understand that, you know, because it's not about receiving, it's about giving.
It's about giving.
You know, and that's a lot of things in life. We had, who was our guest? Oh, man, I forgot his name. We had so many guests on the show. But, you know, he was giving all his education and his knowledge to other people in life. And because of that, the universe was like, hey, you know, you shared your success, and now you're going to become more successful. You know, because you helped out all these people, the universe is going to help you out. You're going to get taken care of. What's her name? Mother Teresa?
Mm-hmm.
She gave away all of her belongings in the world, and the world took care of her.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just a sign of, like, when it comes to, like, sacrifice and everything, you know? Like, if you guys share your knowledge and help the person next to you, then the world's just going to be such a better place.
Yeah.
If you just keep everything to yourself, everyone around you that needed that knowledge, that needed that help, is going to fall and crumble. And guess what? You're going to fall and crumble, because there's no one. Like, imagine being a millionaire, but having no one to share it with.
Yeah.
That money is not going to matter to you, because you're lonely.
Yep.
But if you help people rise to the top with you, you guys can celebrate it together, you know? And I think that's the most important thing. Like, don't be selfish, be selfless, you know?
Yeah.
Build yourself up first, because you can't help others until you helped yourself, you know? Until you learned, until you experienced, until you went through all the process, in order to be like, hey, do this because this is what I did to get out of it, you know? Do not be hypothetical, because then that's being hypocritical. You can't be like, hey, if you ran 10 miles, you'll lose this amount of fat. Or if you stay disciplined in your diet, then da-da-da. But you can't be like that if you see yourself in the mirror and you haven't followed suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's this song, it's called Get Rich. And my favorite line is, I haven't heard it in a while, but the only two things that, like, tell you the truth is your bank account and your mirror. Like, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you see that you are physically fit and then you're healthy, that's the truth of saying, you know, I'm a healthy person.
Yeah.
If you have money in your account and this, that just shows that you have the mindset, not being greedy about money, but understanding a concept of how to gain.
Yep.
You know, and that's just something to think about, guys. Food for thought. Kyle, do you have anything else to say? We got 2 minutes.
Yeah. Another thing too, always have a mentor. Always get a mentor. Find a mentor. They have to be physical. Don't follow a lot of these people online. You know, find someone that you can physically meet to mentor you.
Yeah.
My mentor passed away about 4 years ago this month, and he still follows me to this day. You know, through prayer, through, you know, whatever have you. You don't have to be religious.
Yeah.
But there's some things in life that'll come up, and you're going to want someone to help you. You know, especially if you fall down big, you're going to want someone to help you back up.
Yeah.
And whether that be God, whether that be your mentor, always trust in somebody and always learn.
Yeah, guys, what they say, simulation is the fastest way, because people, it takes them a whole lifetime to understand something in life, and you don't have to go through life, your whole life, trying to learn that. If you have a mentor, it's going to speed up the process.
Yeah.
You know, so find yourself a mentor, speed up the game, simulate, be great. Have an awesome weekend, guys.
Yep.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
You guys are listening to Whatever Works. I'm Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And we got Ferron here in the studio.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. If you guys are coming home,
please.
drive back around, do another lap, do something. And
you don't want to listen to this show.
Thank you guys, everybody. Happy holidays, and we'll be back next week.
Listen to KCAA Loma Linda for less confrontation and more information.
This segment sponsored by the generous support of the Dream Team. Looking for the keys to something bigger and better? Downsizing or relocating to the perfect spot? Oscar Ramirez from Century 21 Lois Lauer Real Estate and Matt Flores from Secure Choice Lending are